From his silent but deadly aura to his impenetrable style and unwavering persistence, here's why fighters are really scared of Leon Edwards. While casual MMA fans may not be familiar with the Jamaican-born fighter, any diehard UFC fan knows that Leon "Rocky" Edwards is one of the most lethal fighters on the UFC roster. And with his newly won welterweight title, Edwards finally has the belt to match and prove his elite-level MMA skills. While other fighters in the welterweight division may get a little more shine for their brash trash talk and internet antics, Leon opts for a more silent but deadly approach. This leads us to the first reason why fighters are scared of this guy. Edwards isn't one to insult his opponents or taunt them during the build-up to a fight. Instead, he prefers to let his fists, knees, kicks, and elbows do the talking once he's inside the octagon. See, that's the thing. You know how they say the loudest one in the room is the weakest? Well, judging by that saying, Leon must be the strongest person in every room he steps into. Fighters know that their taunts, jests, mind games, and mental warfare simply won't work on the silent and stoic Leon Edwards. No amount of pre-fight trash talk can stop the inevitable brutal beating that Edwards inflicts on his opponents every time he steps into the octagon. But why is Leon able to pick apart his adversaries, take them out to deep waters, and drown them at will? Glad you asked. It's because Edwards simply possesses one of the most well-rounded surgical styles of any fighter in the division and the UFC. Leon famously began training at around the age of 17. And unlike other fighters, he didn't specialize in a striking sport or a grappling sport. Edwards dived straight into mixed martial arts, and maybe that's why he's managed to develop one of the most terrifying fighting styles in the UFC. He's confident on his feet, able to pick apart his opponents with surgical boxing, and he's also creative and unpredictable, launching flying knees and spinning elbows, all when his opponents least expect it. Did I mention he throws leg kicks like they're jabs? This guy's technique is so fluid that none of his opponents can see him coming. Take his bout with Nate Diaz at UFC 263, for instance. Rocky spent 5 rounds strategically brutalizing Nate's face. He slips in and darts out before his opponents even know what happened. If this wasn't enough, Leon's more than comfortable taking the fight to the ground if that's what his opponent wants.
Give us your thoughts on how it all went down.
Nate's a veteran, you know. I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, so fair play to Nate, he's a soldier.
With great takedown defense and high-level grappling, he's able to hold his own against elite wrestlers, and proved this perfectly when at UFC 278 in his title-winning bout, he wrestled and took the back of Kamaru the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, who is himself a former NCAA National Wrestling Champion. All in all, Leon's fighting skills have made him one of the most well-rounded mixed martial artists in the UFC. And the fact that he has no obvious weaknesses makes him a terrifying prospect for any potential challengers. It's safe to say that Edwards puts his brutally technical fighting skills to use, as he builds himself an impressive professional record which would leave any fighter second-guessing their decision to challenge him. Since beginning his professional MMA career, Leon has won 20 of the 24 fights that he's had.
Saturday night, like I said, I'm going out there to show off, show out. You know, I truly believe that this is my time.
With the other 4 being 3 losses and 1 no contest. Of his 20 victories, Edwards can boast an astounding 7 knockouts and 3 submissions. This guy doesn't just want to win, he wants to take his opponents out. During his time with the UFC, he's beaten some of the most dangerous fighters the welterweight division has to offer, such as Rafael dos Anjos and Gunnar Nelson. So it's not like his competition has been a walk in the park either. Never mind the fact that at UFC 278, Leon knocked out Kamaru Usman, the then welterweight champion who some people believe to be the baddest man on the planet. As if his brutal skills and terrifying record weren't enough, Edwards exudes a calm and cold persona that's enough to send shivers down the spine of even the bravest fighters. See, Leon doesn't show any signs of weakness or stress when he battles it out in the octagon. If you look into the 31-year-old fighter's eyes, all you find is cold calculation. He doesn't seem fazed at all. I'd be freaking out if I was in the octagon with one of these killers, but Leon treats it like another day at the office. This cold and calm aura might have been cultivated in Edwards' childhood, as he didn't have what most call a conventional upbringing. Leon was born in Kingston, Jamaica, where his father was the leader of the local gang. In his interview with the Breakfast Club radio show, he explained how as a child he was accustomed to violence and guns.
Like growing up in Jamaica, my dad was like the leader of the gang where I grew up in. I was born in Jamaica, you know. So I've always been around like violence as far as like.
As a result of his father's activities, at the age of 10, his family emigrated to the United Kingdom, where they settled in Birmingham. And despite the move, his father continued dealing in nefarious activities and was eventually murdered at a nightclub in London when Leon was only 13 years old. He described how this sent him down a dark path, following in his father's footsteps by selling drugs and getting into trouble on the streets. It was his mother who suggested he take up mixed martial arts to direct his energy towards something more productive. But this harsh upbringing where Leon becomes accustomed to violence and may well have had his life threatened has left him with a cold, calm, and stoic demeanor, which is likely to unsettle any fighter that he meets in the octagon. It's not a normal thing to beat people up for a living, but Leon never shows any emotion or signs of fear in the build-up to any of his fights. What a frightening dude! While Leon may have elite martial arts skills and a petrifying aura to match, it's his indomitable spirit and heart of a lion that makes him a truly terrifying opponent. Regardless of what his adversaries throw at him, Leon keeps moving forward unfettered and unforgiving. It must get so exhausting fighting the guy, he just won't stop! Nothing shows this better than his bout with Kamaru Usman at UFC 278. Going into the 5th round, Leon was down on the scoreboards, and he knew it. He was going to have to do something spectacular to walk away with the welterweight belt, an opportunity that he had worked so tirelessly to reach. With less than 1 minute left in the 5th round, as commenters were saying the fight was over, Leon shocked the world by landing a textbook head kick on Kamaru, sending him to the canvas for a nice little nap. Night-night. While the whole world was counting him out, when all the odds were stacked against him and all hope seemed lost, Rocky truly earned his nickname by proving to everybody that it's not over till it's over, and you can never count Leon Edwards out. Most fighters want an opponent who will lose drive, tenacity, and aggression as the fight goes on. But Edwards has shown that as long as he's standing, he's gonna bring the fight to you and keep pushing for a spectacular finish. Better watch out for those head kicks. There you have it, fight fans. Leon Edwards is the reigning UFC welterweight champion, and by all means, he fits the title well. So, from his silent but deadly aura to his impenetrable style and unwavering persistence, here's why fighters are really scared of Leon Edwards.